How can Jeremiah Dickey further Ashton Genty's Heisman campaign? You know, the DVD box they gave the media a couple of weeks ago,
which made a game day appearance last weekend.
Stanford Steve's been rocking that a couple of weeks.
Yes.
What's next? What can Boise State, what can this marketing department, what can Jeremiah Dickey do to get Ashton Genty's name even more out there? He's already, Prater, the odds-on Heisman favorite. He leads the nation in every meaningful statistical category. We don't think that's going anywhere. That'll be there at the end of the year. But how else can you get him out there? Jeremiah Dickey told us on Bronco Game Night a couple days ago that, hey, this media sent. Do we have that clip, JP? Here's Jeremiah Dickey with Prater on the ball game a couple of days ago.
Our people are very much thinking that way, and obviously I'm a part of it, as is Spencer and many others. But what's so cool about this, guys, is the national media, our local media, they're telling the story.
Yeah,
we don't have to say much after a game. I mean, I get on social media, I find, I get into Spencer's press conference, and I'm looking at ESPN and Fox and every main person in college football, NFL guys. I mean, people are talking about, like, that's invaluable. I mean, it's priceless. So I'm not sure what I can do to actually do more than that. And we're going to continue to chop wood and we have a plan, and we've been working that plan. We knew it was going to be difficult for a group of 5 football player, to ever make it. But Ashton is proving with what you do off the field and how it plays out on the field, you can do it. And I'm just really proud of him. He's deserving of it. And we're going to continue to sing his praises.
That's a smart answer. That's a reasonable answer. And certainly Ashton Jeanty just running and doing what he's been doing, and the highlight films attached to social media has gotten him to this point. I mean, let's not forget that, as Johnny said, Ashton Jeanty is the odds-on favorite right now. That'll change a million times between now and the first week of December, because it's a very flaky and up and down, what have you done for me lately awards. But I think he's done a fantastic job, and that has gotten the traction that is needed. Now, I only worry about, you need to be proactive. You need to do more. You need to account for maybe that one game that he misses because of a bad ankle, or maybe because he had a bad game. I mean, he is human.
Yes.
And what can you do when that kind of stuff happens, and how proactive can you be to keep it going? So this is way more than Ashton Genty carrying the ball in the second half. His production is speaking volumes. Now what can be done to take those volumes to the masses and make sure everybody hears it?
Yeah, it's not a production issue. His production is there. Period. End of story. We have the production. You guys, we want to know, what can Jeremiah Dickey and this marketing department do to further this campaign? We want your ideas, so call 208-424-9300. We'll keep you holding. Ashton Genty, I'm sorry, Prater, Jeremiah Dickey just said, basically, Genty markets himself. We let the national media take care of that. In my opinion, I think you still need to do more. I love the idea, our idea of the snow plow, somehow, some way. Get that somewhere. That's a really cool thing. And if you can get that, like we were suggesting, you drive the snow plow from Boise, Idaho to New York City, and you make sure that snow plow arrives right on December 14th, the day of the Heisman ceremony, and it's probably going to be snowy in New York City. I'll put the guy to work. Go plow some snow here and there.
You probably,
the cameras on that.
Yeah, but you probably need to do it like 2 weeks before, because by then the voting is already done.
Oh, busted! You got me. Okay,
yeah, you can't do it the week of, because the votes are going to be due the Monday after conference championship weekend. So maybe the Thursday through Saturday leading up to the conference championship game, especially Boise State's conference championship game this year is on a Friday, right? Okay. The Mountain West is on a Friday, if I remember right.
It is. Yeah.
So maybe Tuesday through Thursday you go to New York, and then you're parking that sucker in New York on Friday of the Mountain West championship game. Or maybe you take it to Vegas. If we're looking at logistics, maybe you just drive it to Vegas and just make a big spectacle. Put a whole bunch of lights on that thing.
Yeah, put it places.
What was that one movie? What was the Robert Redford, Willie Nelson stealing a horse movie? Remember that he stole a horse and he was in Vegas and he put lights on the horse and they ran up and
Rhinestone Cowboy?
No, he ran up and down the fashion runway with a horse with a whole bunch of lights on it. Really gaudy light show.
God, every time you bring up a movie, I have no idea what it is.
Robert Redford, Willie Nelson.
Okay. Again, we want ideas to further this campaign. Let me throw in the fact too, Prater. You say stop the snowplow in Vegas. Why don't we stop that sucker in Boulder, Colorado, and say hello to Travis Hunter? Why don't you drive it anywhere else? Take pit stops there. I mean, that would be a national scene. Where is the snowplow today? Oh, it's in I don't know, Fargo, North Dakota. Oh, there they are. And that would be that would get a lot of buzz. People would pay attention to that, kind of a way to bribe the voters, if you will. We want to know if anybody can beat that or add to our already brilliant idea.
Give it its own social media account.
Yes,
all that fun stuff. By the way, The Electric Horseman. The Electric Horseman was
the movie.
Great movie, by the way.
The Electric Horseman.
Did I get you on one?
Never seen it.
Did I get you on one?
It's a Robert Redford, Willie Nelson movie. I think I've heard of every Robert Redford movie, but I've never heard of The Electric Horseman.
Sidney Pollack and Jane Fonda? Come on now.
That's a good cast right there. Yeah. JP, let's get to some of these calls. Let's go double tap pub hotline. Tom is first up. Tom, what idea would you have for Jeremiah Dickey in this marketing department to further Ashton Genty's Heisman campaign?
One is dispel the notion Genty markets himself. No, this is your Fiesta Bowl moment. You're going to build a Stickle Sky Center on this. So you have got to be literally Sundays and Mondays in connecting with every Heisman voter you know. And Prater, I don't know if you know who they are. I mean, if it's publicized who they are, you need to be connecting with him. He's got a bye week coming up in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Get him on College Game Day. Take that snowplow. Forget about driving it to Vegas. Nobody cares. New York 2 weeks. Nobody's paying attention to it. Drive it to College Game Day every freaking week until just every freaking week.
Yeah.
Drive it to College Game Day. Make sure it's there. Hell, if it snows here, have him drive it and plow some snow if that's, if they can get the insurance and stuff for it. But you need to do every stupid gimmick. Go to Genty and say, we want to help you. What can you do? What will you do? What will you miss class for to go out so we can turn anything into viral videos that can connect with voters, that can connect with college football fans? Especially get him on the Big Noon Kickoff show.
Yep.
Fly him to wherever it's going to be. Spare no expense.
That's a hell of a call. Tom, I appreciate that. We got a bunch of calls we got to get to, but he's just saying make this snowplow a thing, take it to every game day location, park it somewhere, even if it gets 10 seconds. Oh, there's the Genty snowplow, Desmond Howard. Look at that. Oh, hey, Kirk. And they talk about it for 10 seconds and they move on.
I love those ideas. I love the vibe of just you cannot waste this opportunity. And nobody's suggesting that Jeremiah Dickey or Boise State's wasting an opportunity. I think they've done a fantastic job. They were the first school to come out with a Heisman hype, and then it worked only because Genty got on the football field and exploded in that first week and has continued to do so. So keep that momentum going. The vibe, thinking big, thinking weird, thinking crazy, thinking dumb, and hopefully a couple of those stick.
Adam, you're next up. It's our Double Tap Pub hotline. Call 208-424-9300. Just trying to find out ways. Again, Jeremiah Dickey basically said here, Ashton Genty is marketing himself here because of social media, and even the biggest names in social media are talking and tweeting and commenting about Ashton Genty. We want more, though. Adam, what do you have? Welcome.
Hey, thanks. My idea, it's not really, I don't have anything that they can do, but I think it comes down to fans. Those of us that know about him, we got to, on YouTube, on social media, like things that he comes up on. These guys, there's a lot of stuff out there now. If you watch a video, like it and put a comment in. I think that as that happens more and more, everybody's going to start seeing him more and more pop up on YouTube and see his highlights. And I think that's really how we get the word out about him.
Everything helps. What does Jeremiah Dickey say? Every penny, every dollar, every nickel helps.
Everything counts. Everything matters.
Exactly.
We're going to run out every ground ball on this thing. And yeah, I know this is, it costs money to do all this. Like I was thinking, like I had another idea. They have digital billboards now. Okay. Moving billboards. Buy a digital billboard, I don't know, in SEC country, Texas, all over the country. And what you show on that billboard is an Ashton Genty highlight, a run, one of the 15 you can choose from. Genty for Heisman, and show the damn run, a video of the run. It's a 10-second, 15-second billboard. Put those all over the country. That will take stuff. Certainly in New York City. If you're just walking and you see Ashton Genty highlights, whoa, maybe that'll be something too. There's a lot of stuff I think you need to do here, Prater. Stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's not bad because everything matters.
A digital billboard.
Yeah, I need more direct marketing to voters. That's not getting to the voters. I want whatever they come up with.
Voters.
The marketing campaign needs to be directed to 950 voters. That's all I care about. I don't care about a fan in SEC country. Again, I'll take it because I think everything matters here. It's certainly not going to hurt, but I need direct impact on 950 Heisman voters. And they're going to probably send out email blasts, and I get those every year, and you get the gifts and, you know, the bobbleheads and some of the other crap that they throw out there anymore. And some of that stuff works. Some of that stuff doesn't work anymore, but you've got to impact the voters, period.
Yeah, Brian, you're next up. Brian, what's your plan, Brian? How are you going to impact the voters and extend and further this Ashton Genty Heisman campaign?
Well, the first thing you guys got to do is get a third seat put in that truck, but I only see 2 high back seats in that cloud truck.
Dang it.
So that probably is not going to work. But the last caller said game day, have people show up with the giant facial head of him in front of those cameras on College game day every week from now on until the end, and have people stay there and popping that head in front of those cameras as much as possible is my suggestion.
I love that. I mean, let's throw out the Heisman flag, the logo that they've been using with the 2 in it. This T-shirt that I'm looking at right here.
Yeah, that logo.
Put that sucker on a whole bunch of sticks and pass those things around. Hire a whole bunch of college kids every Saturday morning and give 100 of them $100, and all you have to do is walk around for the next 3 hours holding up this sign, you know, and doing that kind of stuff.
Genty for Heisman.
Yeah, because Heisman Trophy voters watch game day.
Yeah, they do.
You
Of
know?
course. Yeah.
And it's just a reminder. If in case you forgot, we're in your ear. Don't forget Ashton Genty for Heisman.
Yeah. 208-424-9300. Got a bunch of text messages we can get to. I want to have a couple of them here and get your take on some of these. Utah Benny says, fly Ashton to New York City during the bye week and make a video of him walking around town and taking in the sights. What do you think of that, Forrest?
I love it. Spencer Danielson would.
Hey, we're going to take Genty for 48 hours real quick. We're going to get him right in downtown New York City, right outside the event where it's taking place, and just have Ashton Genty just walk around and be Ashton Genty in New York City.
You know, let's take the Joey Harrington Times Square billboard idea, which is the standard. And I don't want that because that's what, you know, that's what everybody thinks of. But maybe in this day and age, you can do the exact same thing. But what is is it a hologram where you can maybe you can did a hologram and put Ashton Genty highlights up on the Times Square billboard there where he's actually running, you know, and doing his thing. And maybe you can just flat out steal some highlights and stick them up there as well. But something cool like a Ashton Genty hologram on the side of a building in New York City.
Oh, that would be awesome too. And what Dan and Eagle says, somehow, some way, get Ashton driving that snowplow in whatever you can do to. I mean, people. The Heisman voters would eventually see that. If Ashton Genty is driving around this snowplow, maybe this guy says a public service campaign commercial where Genty reads like an apology to all the other teams for having to break all their tackles or something like that.
I love it.
Got a bunch of people.
I love that. I mean, I think he did a little bit of stuff with them last offseason when the snowplow came out, but I don't remember if there was ads or what they did. Maybe he just went and hung out with them for a couple of hours, but yeah, I love that idea.
And the most popular one is, and it wasn't just, we appreciate, I think it was the first caller who suggested the snowplow to College game day, but a bunch of people texted that in. That's a great idea. Just park it somewhere on game day. Here is the Ashton Genty snowplow. Now you got to get it there, Prater. You know, I mean, that's not going to be easy having to drive this snowplow all around the country for the next couple weeks, couple months. But neither is winning the Heisman.
Yeah,
that's not easy.
No, especially if you're a group of 5 running back. I don't think it's ever happened. Has a group of 5 running back ever won it? I mean, I guess way back in the day when there wasn't such a title.
Yeah,
when there wasn't titles.
Like Glenn Davis for Army.
Well,
does that count as a group of Army? Was a power then too. They were like the best team in the country.
Yeah, I don't know if a group of 5 running back has ever won it. The last group of 5 was what, Ty Detmer, period.
Yeah.
Roger Staubach is a quarterback for Navy, but they may have been still a power back in those days. How about this? Maybe you just pick and choose, because we all know that Big noon kickoff is in Provo this weekend.
Oh, you could do that,
Just
dude.
drive down to Provo and back.
You could.
I'm not doing it, but somebody might.
Yes, yeah, you could do that, man. How about this? Scott in Boise says, have one home game be the Ashton Genty out, the white out, the black out. This is a Genty out, and everybody that comes in gets that Ashton Genty Heisman shirt, and the whole stadium wears it. Voters going to pay attention to that?
They'll see that in the highlights, especially if it's marketed well, and Boise State's social media team does a hell of a job. So yeah, love it. Love all these ideas. Beautiful ideas.
Keep them coming in, you guys. We love this stuff.
It's much. Our listeners are much better than the Twidiots, and all the response to all the Twidiots out there. Play them more. Play them in the second half. Give them more carries. Play them more in the second half. At least our listeners came up with a lot more stuff creative.
That's what we're looking for. I mean, the stats are there, guys. He's on pace to break Barry Sanders' all-time rushing record.
He doesn't need more carries.
Because people aren't going to look at that and say, he only broke Barry's record by 70 yards. Dang it. He could have broke it by 400. I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think it's a difference right there, Prater. But yeah, look, Ashton Genty's going to play the entire game if it calls for it.
Sure.
Right? They're trying to preserve him. They're trying to win a playoff game. It is crazy, but maybe it is. Would Ashton Genty winning the Heisman be bigger than any game this team has ever won in the program? Any game this program has ever won? Would Ashton Genty winning the Heisman be the number one, no doubt about it, crown jewel of this program? That Heisman, you get two of them. Player keeps one, school gets one. That Heisman, if he wins it, will sit in the Blameyer. Are you going to see that or the Fiesta Bowl trophy first? That's a rhetorical question. You're going to see the Heisman. I just don't know.
No, I think the Fiesta Bowl victory would be bigger.
What?
Yes. It would be way bigger. Then
the Fiesta Bowl, they have three of them. The Heisman goes to one.
I'm talking about the
player.
first one. Nobody talks about the second two. The first one was worth millions to that university. Millions.
So the first Fiesta Bowl moment would be bigger than a Genty
I think so,
Heisman
in my
speech.
opinion. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm saying that's my opinion. That victory was worth millions. The Ashton Jeanty Heisman Trophy would be big. I'm not sure if it would put millions of dollars into Boise State's pockets.
Yeah, that's a good question because okay, I will agree with you on that. You've
that was massive, and you can only strike lightning
that
twice.
Game's just insane. You're right. I mean, but the Heisman, because you could say, well, the Heisman wouldn't even come if that game didn't happen and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But this is still huge.
Absolutely, it's worth the debate.
And if you have to pick, and it looks like they do, and I get it, there have been many Heisman winners. I'll just go Rashawn Salam, Colorado. Didn't do much that year. That their whole focal point of that football program was to have their running back win the Heisman at all costs. It wasn't more about winning the game than it was getting the first ever Colorado Buffalo to win a Heisman. Boise State doesn't have that luxury like Oklahoma State did in 1988, where they were able to give Barry 300 damn carries. Boise State is playing for something bigger. And yes, sometimes that gets in the way of a pursuit of an individual award. Don't forget, this is the ultimate team sport, Prater, and why can't they have both? And right now, I think they're doing a pretty good job of doing both, chasing that CFP, and they have the leading Heisman odds-on favorite in the nation. Wow.
Love it.
All right, let's Prater, we have Jason Steele, who is the starting center of this team now. He's been working
for a week
with Zach Holmes, splitting time. But if you were wondering, and I think you were, and no one has heard this clip before, but I was able to talk with Jason Steele today and find out exactly what the process is of who's going to play center and when they're going to play the position, because they've both been seeing action in both games, which we felt was kind of odd. Jason Steele, the center, he'll explain it when we come back.
This is Ticket Traffic.
Report brought to you by Western